1 week since the bodies of Gene Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs were found deceased in their 9,000 square foot Santa Fe home.
For a full 24 hours, Gene Hackman's 3 children remained under close observation as they finally shared their thoughts and emotions regarding the passing of their father and his beloved wife, Betsy Arakawa. In a deeply moving moment, they reminisced about the cherished memories their parents created together and unveiled some intriguing details about Betsy, insights that had never been publicly known before. Curious about these revelations? Stay with us as we explore the unexpected truth that left Gene Hackman's fans both surprised and deeply touched. Gene Hackman was widely regarded as one of Hollywood's most legendary actors, known for his exceptional performances in cinematic masterpieces such as The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums. His extraordinary talent left a permanent mark on the film industry, making him a revered and admired figure across generations. However, despite his fame, Hackman was a deeply private individual. He deliberately kept his family life away from the limelight, choosing to shield his loved ones from media attention. However, following the heartbreaking loss of both Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy, their 3 children, Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie, felt compelled to step forward. For years, they had remained in the background, respecting their father's wishes for privacy. But in this moment of profound grief, they decided it was time to honor the legacy of their parents and share heartfelt memories of the couple who had meant everything to them. Leslie and Hackman, the youngest of the 3, had always avoided media attention, leading a quiet and private life, far removed from the Hollywood spotlight. However, this time, she could no longer stay in the shadows. When she was spotted in Los Angeles, the sorrow of losing both parents was evident on her face. Despite her inner strength, the emotional weight of their passing was impossible to hide. She revealed that the family needed time to process the immense loss and planned to travel to New Mexico to go through their parents' belongings. Returning to their childhood home, once filled with warmth and love but now emptied of their parents' presence, was an overwhelming thought. The memories embedded in every corner of that house would serve as a bittersweet reminder of the life they once shared. Elizabeth Hackman, born in 1962, had also chosen a life away from Hollywood's glare. But in the wake of such a devastating loss, she found it impossible to remain silent. Alongside her sister Leslie and her niece Annie, she spoke on behalf of the family, acknowledging the profound sadness that had engulfed them. To the world, Gene Hackman was a cinematic icon, admired by millions for his unforgettable performances. But to his children, he was first and foremost their father, a man who loved, guided, and protected them. They wanted his fans to remember not only the Hollywood legend but also the devoted family man who held an irreplaceable place in their hearts. Christopher Hackman, Gene's eldest child from his first marriage, had taken a path entirely different from his father's. Unlike Gene, he never pursued fame or sought public recognition, choosing instead to lead a simple and private life. Though he rarely made public appearances, he shared a deeply personal bond with his father, one built on mutual respect and love. Gene had once spoken about how, despite growing older, he and Christopher never hesitated to embrace each other, demonstrating the unbreakable bond they shared. Their love was never a spectacle for the world to witness, but it was undeniably strong. When Gene and Betsy passed away, their children released a heartfelt statement, not just as a tribute but as an expression of their sorrow. While millions mourned Gene Hackman as a Hollywood legend, his children wanted the world to remember that, before anything else, he had been a loving father and grandfather. Betsy Arakawa may not have been a household name in the entertainment industry, but to Gene Hackman, she was his world. A gifted pianist, she stood beside him for over 3 decades, offering unwavering support and companionship, especially during the later years of his life. She had witnessed Gene's transition from a prolific actor to a man who embraced a quiet and peaceful retirement. Leslie, while honoring her father's memory, did not forget to acknowledge the incredible role Betsy played in Gene's life. She recalled how her stepmother had been instrumental in keeping Gene healthy, happy, and grounded. Betsy had always been deeply concerned about Gene's well-being, dedicating herself to taking care of him with boundless love and devotion. Losing both of them at once was an indescribable sorrow for their family. The absence of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa left an unfillable void in the hearts of their children and those who had admired them from afar. However, despite the grief, one thing remained clear: their legacy would live on. Through the words and memories shared by their family, it became evident that Gene and Betsy's influence, love, and values would continue to shape future generations. While the pain of their loss would never truly fade, the Hackman family was determined to carry forward their parents' memory, preserving the love and wisdom they had passed down. Now, let's take a closer look at how Gene and Betsy built a love so strong that it lasted until their final moments together. When people think of Gene Hackman, they immediately recall his legendary performances, the powerful characters he portrayed, and the films that cemented his place in Hollywood history. But behind the camera, he was so much more than just an actor. He was a husband, a devoted partner, and a man who found true happiness in the love of his wife, Betsy Orokowa. Gene met Betsy in the late 1980s when he was at the peak of his acting career. Betsy, a talented pianist of Japanese descent, was significantly younger than him. Many would have assumed that their age difference, cultural backgrounds, and contrasting life experiences would create a barrier between them. However, instead of driving them apart, these differences only strengthened their connection, forming a deep and lasting bond that endured for more than 30 years. Before Betsy, Gene had been married to his first wife, Faye Maltese, for over 3 decades. After their marriage ended, he seemed to lose interest in love, focusing solely on his career and personal solitude. But when Betsy entered his life, everything changed. She brought warmth, patience, and a sense of calm that he never realized he needed. Those who were close to them could see the profound impact Betsy had on Gene, how she nurtured him, made him laugh, and filled his life with joy, especially in his later years. Unlike his first marriage, where his demanding career often kept him away from his family, his relationship with Betsy was different. After marrying in 1991, Gene gradually began to scale back his work commitments, choosing instead to prioritize his personal life. Finally, in 2004, he made the momentous decision to retire from acting altogether, embracing a quiet and content life with Betsy. She was not just his wife, she was his closest companion, his confidant, and the person who understood him better than anyone else. Over the years, Betsy became his emotional anchor, ensuring he remained in good health and good spirits as he aged. Her unwavering dedication kept him strong for many years. According to a press statement released on March 7, 2025, Betsy passed away just 1 week before Gene. Her death marked a turning point in his life. The woman who had stood by his side for over 3 decades, who had watched him transition from Hollywood's limelight to a peaceful retirement, was suddenly gone. For Gene Hackman, losing Betsy was more than just a loss, it was the end of a love story that had withstood the test of time. The pain of losing Betsy was overwhelming for Gene Hackman. Though he had never been one to seek attention, those close to him could see a profound change. He withdrew even further into solitude, no longer displaying the same energy and vitality he once had. His family could clearly see how deeply he grieved her absence. Betsy was not just his wife, she was a fundamental part of his life, someone who had been by his side, providing love, companionship, and unwavering support. Although Gene and Betsy are no longer in this world, the story of their love remains unforgettable. Theirs was not a relationship built on grand gestures or public displays of affection. Instead, it was a quiet yet powerful bond, rooted in deep understanding and care. Betsy was not only his life partner but also his closest confidant and biggest source of strength in his later years. Even in their absence, the love they shared continues to live on in the hearts of their family, friends, and all those who admired them. In the days following Betsy Orokowa's passing, the home she and Gene Hackman shared felt lonelier than ever. The memories remained, their cherished photographs, the piano where Betsy used to play beautiful melodies in the afternoons, and the books Gene loved to read. Yet, despite these familiar surroundings, an eerie silence filled the space, making their absence even more painful. At first, the exact cause of Betsy's passing was not disclosed publicly. Her family revealed only that she had succumbed to a severe illness. However, when further details emerged, they left many in shock. It was revealed that Betsy had lost her life to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare yet highly dangerous disease. This virus, primarily transmitted through rodent waste, causes severe respiratory complications and can prove fatal within days of the first symptoms appearing. Just weeks before, Betsy had been healthy and full of life, making her sudden passing even more tragic. Following Betsy's death, Gene Hackman did not reach out for help. Authorities later suspected that due to his advanced Alzheimer's disease, he may not have fully comprehended that she was gone. He remained inside their home, and on February 18, his pacemaker recorded alarming heart activity. His health had already been deteriorating, and he eventually passed away due to severe heart disease, which was worsened by complications from Alzheimer's and kidney disease. On February 26, both Gene and Betsy were discovered in their home, along with one of their 3 dogs, who had also passed away. Miraculously, the other 2 dogs had survived. Their bodies were found after a maintenance worker, growing concerned when they did not respond to repeated knocks, notified security personnel. Looking through the window, security officers immediately sensed something was wrong and contacted the authorities. Though there were no indications of foul play, investigators thoroughly examined the situation due to its unusual circumstances. Initially, carbon monoxide poisoning was considered a possible cause but was ruled out by February 28. After careful investigation, officials publicly confirmed the official causes of death in a press conference held on March 7. The loss of both Gene and Betsy in such a short span of time devastated their children, Leslie, Elizabeth, and Christopher. Their family home, once filled with warmth and love, now felt unbearably empty. The 2 pillars of their family were gone, and coming to terms with life without them was incredibly difficult. The family had always assumed they had more time to create memories together, but reality struck hard. They never got the chance to say all they wanted to say. Though Gene and Betsy are no longer physically present, their love and legacy endure. Their life together was simple yet filled with moments of quiet happiness. Their love was not showy or extravagant, but it was unbreakable, strong enough to last even beyond death. Now, their children are learning to navigate life without them, taking comfort in the thought that somewhere, Gene and Betsy are still together, just as they always were. Gene Hackman was never the type of person who craved the spotlight. He let his performances speak for themselves, never seeking attention beyond his craft. Yet, even after stepping away from Hollywood, the mark he left on the film industry remained profound. His children, having grown up witnessing their father's unwavering dedication to his work, understood that his legacy should never be forgotten. To them, it was essential that the world remember not only his accomplishments as an Academy Award-winning actor but also his integrity, values, and passion for storytelling. To pay tribute to his extraordinary career and life, many believe that Gene Hackman's children may arrange special events to honor his contributions to the film industry. These events could include screenings of his most iconic films, exhibitions showcasing behind-the-scenes photos, and displays of memorabilia from his acting journey. More importantly, they could serve as gatherings where fans can come together to reminisce about the unforgettable movies that shaped generations. Hackman always believed that films were meant for audiences, not just actors, and such events would reflect his philosophy. Additionally, Gene's children may choose to include exclusive interviews and documentary segments featuring renowned directors and co-stars who worked alongside him. Esteemed figures like Clint Eastwood and Dustin Hoffman have often praised Hackman's influence on cinema, and even younger actors deeply admire his work. By collecting and sharing these stories, his children aim to provide a deeper insight into the man behind the legend, an actor of incredible talent and a person of great humility. Gene Hackman's legacy extends beyond his acting career. It also lies in the values he instilled in his children. He was a firm yet loving father, teaching them life lessons through the power of storytelling. Whether drawing from his own Hollywood experiences or the complex characters he portrayed on screen, he always found a way to impart wisdom. His role as Popeye Doyle in The French Connection emphasized justice and accountability, while his performance as Lex Luthor in Superman highlighted the consequences of power when used irresponsibly. These lessons shaped his children, and now, in his absence, they feel a responsibility to pass them on to future generations. Hackman's impact continues to inspire aspiring actors today. Many, including Leonardo DiCaprio and Christian Bale, have spoken about his influence on their craft. Because of this, his children may be considering launching a scholarship fund dedicated to young actors. This initiative would provide financial aid and mentorship opportunities to emerging talents, allowing them to learn from seasoned industry professionals. They firmly believe that their father would have wholeheartedly supported such a cause, as he always valued hard work, perseverance, and dedication. Above all, Gene Hackman's children are committed to preserving the connection between their family and his fans. They understand that while he was their father, he also belonged to the world of cinema. By organizing tributes, sharing his journey, and ensuring that his name remains an integral part of film history, they are safeguarding the legacy he built. Though he may no longer walk among us, his presence endures, through the timeless performances he left behind, the wisdom he imparted, and the inspiration he continues to provide. His story will never be forgotten, and his impact will forever live on in the hearts of those who admired him. In the wake of Gene and Betsy Hackman's departure, one cannot help but wonder how their family has been coping. Let's take a deeper look. Lately, the Hackman household has been engulfed in an unsettling silence, one that does not bring peace but rather a weight of sorrow. The world watched intently, yet no one truly knew how the family was faring. Their whereabouts remained unknown, their emotions concealed, but that did not prevent a flurry of rumors from circulating. With each passing day, new headlines surfaced, and the public's curiosity only intensified. However, the family chose to remain quiet, a silence that only fueled media speculation even more. Hollywood has never been a place for privacy, especially for someone of Gene Hackman's stature. His family understood this all too well. From the moment news of his passing broke, they were thrust into a whirlwind of sensationalized reports, persistent inquiries from journalists, and even outright fabrications. One particular tabloid falsely claimed that the family was torn between hosting a private funeral and a grand public memorial. This misinformation deeply upset Elizabeth Hackman, who had always shied away from the limelight. She found it incomprehensible how strangers could weave stories as if they were part of their intimate circle. Leslie, her sister, had spent years within the entertainment industry, yet even she found the relentless media attention exhausting. She struggled to grasp why even their grief had become a spectacle. Christopher, the eldest sibling, chose a path of quiet resilience, focusing on shielding his family from the prying eyes of the world. But despite his strength, the burden of public scrutiny weighed heavily on all of them. Amidst the speculation, there remained a multitude of devoted admirers who genuinely wished to pay their respects. Social media became a digital shrine of remembrance, flooded with heartfelt tributes, classic film clips, interviews, and nostalgic anecdotes about Gene Hackman. Fans mourned his passing but also celebrated his artistic legacy, recognizing him not just as an actor but as a master storyteller. As the tributes poured in, one question loomed: how would the Hackman family choose to honor his memory? Would they opt for a public commemoration, or would they grieve in solitude? The absence of an official statement did nothing to quell the relentless discourse. Speculation swirled, with Hollywood insiders suggesting that Hackman's longtime colleagues, including Clint Eastwood and Dustin Hoffman, had extended their support in organizing a tribute. However, whether such an event would come to fruition remained uncertain. Losing a parent is an unparalleled sorrow, but for the Hackman family, the pain was compounded by the unrelenting gaze of the public. Christopher, who had always been the steadfast pillar of the family, grappled with the immense pressure. A close friend noted that while he had always been a man of control, this situation left him feeling powerless. Elizabeth, who cherished a life of quiet normalcy, distanced herself from the media entirely. She avoided reading anything about her father, fearing the distortions that headlines might create. Leslie, known for her openness about the values her family upheld, now found it difficult to address the public. She longed to be strong, yet there were moments when she wished she could escape it all. Each sibling navigated their grief differently, but one truth remained: they could not evade the inevitable decisions they had to make. The question was not about public expectations but about what felt right for them. They desired to honor their father's legacy, but in a manner that Gene Hackman himself would have endorsed: modest, sincere, and free from unnecessary spectacle. Though no final decision had been reached, one thing was irrefutable: they would not allow his memory to become a mere tabloid sensation. Elizabeth reminded her siblings of their father's core values. He had never been driven by fame; his love was for his craft and his family. Any tribute they arranged would be done out of love and respect, not as a response to public demand. While the media continued to speculate and the world waited for an answer, the Hackman family knew that their journey was deeply personal. They would step forward when they were ready, not because of external pressure but because their love for their father called them to do so. Losing someone is never the end, It is merely a transition in life's journey. The Hackman family had not chosen this path, yet they now had no choice but to walk it. Each day, the sun continued to rise, but its warmth could not erase the void in their hearts. Slowly, they came to understand that the only way to move forward was not by forgetting, but by learning to live with their loss. Gene Hackman had lived a life full of purpose, and now his children were tasked with carrying that purpose forward. They were not trying to replace him, but rather, to ensure his legacy endured through their own actions. No matter how heavy the sorrow or how difficult the days ahead, they remained steadfast in their determination to keep his memory alive. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, click on the next video displayed on your screen.